an update for MeteoMark weather here for April 16th, 2013. Let's start off with some pictures here from Lucas from Linden, Texas here. We're starting off here with a nice photo of some flowers. We got some nice blooming foliage here and flowers. Look at this. This is really nice. Still not too much here in the north, but here in Texas things are in full bloom. And we continue through the photos here. You can see here's a really nice bird here. The birds are out in full swing here down south. Really nice springtime photos here. And you can see another nice blooming flower here. Nice macro shots here of some nice, really beautiful flowers. And here's some nice cloud shots here. Really nice blue sky, puffy white cumulus clouds. And you can see the sun obscuring through the clouds here. And you got a nice sun flare here right through the trees. Thank you, Lucas. That really paints the picture across much of the south where conditions and temperatures are running much above normal here in the south. We're going to start off here with, I don't normally do this because usually they're out of date by the time you watch this video, but I want to hit home point here, and it has to do with flooding. So let's take a quickly look at some of the watches and flash flood watches and warnings here across much of northeastern Iowa here, Minnesota, heading on into most of Wisconsin, pretty much all of Michigan, and we have flash flood warnings all the way down to the Gulf Coast in sporadic areas, as well as flood watches across much of Missouri and portions of southeastern Kansas here. So what we're going to do right here, we're going to go right into the actual precipitation amounts. This is actual precipitation through the next 48 hours here. This would end sometime around 5 or 6 p.m. on Thursday. And you can see the lion's share of the heaviest rain will be across Michigan and heading on over to Wisconsin, down towards Illinois, Missouri, these areas here with the thunderstorms, and then north of this warm front where there's overrunning going on here. This is where we're going to experience rainfall on the amount of most likely widespread 2 to 4 inch amounts, and I would not be surprised to see training thunderstorms result in some isolated areas up to 6 inches likely. So I want you to be on your guard for, there's already a lot of flash flood warnings across this area, and the precipitation only get worse. That precipitation will spread east. A lot of the precipitation will be in the result of this stationary front across the northeast. We've already had some bouts of showers and thunderstorms across New York, Pennsylvania, down by Pittsburgh over to Albany, Binghamton, and Harrisburg, and those will spread east. And we could see another shot tonight into Wednesday morning as well for those areas. So let's get right into severe weather. There's going to be a big day, the biggest day of the year so far for severe weather. National Severe Storms Forecast Center here paints most of Kansas, Oklahoma, north central Texas, extreme western Missouri here under a moderate risk. They don't use moderate risk very often at the Severe Storms Forecast Center in Norman, Oklahoma. And that's where we'll be seeing some extensive amounts of tornadic activity, as well as damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, destructive hail 3/4 inch in diameter or larger, and that can do a lot of damage across the area. And that's not to mention the flooding that will occur in many of these areas as well. There'll be a lot of training going on with these thunderstorms as they move from southwest to northeast. That will be the general motion of these thunderstorms, and typically the most severe thunderstorms do move from southwest to northeast. So let's get right into your Thursday here. The storm system continues to spread east towards the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys, knocking on the door to Ohio just west of Pittsburgh here, extending down towards Nashville, Tupelo, Shreveport, possibly New Orleans, Little Rock, over to these areas here. We'll experience in Mississippi, maybe as far east as Alabama towards sunset on Thursday. Then it's Friday, we get into the severe storm sweeping off towards the East Coast. Not off the East Coast Friday, but towards the East Coast. We could have severe weather across central and southern Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delmarva Peninsula, most of Virginia and extending down towards the Carolinas, and then that front will be draped across Florida. That's where we'll see some residual severe thunderstorms. So that's the severe weather outlook for most of the nation. Anywhere in those red and fuchsia colors, you will see damaging thunderstorms. You have about a 30 to 40% likelihood at a given point within 50 miles of getting anything close to severe. It's about a 20% chance, 20 to 30% chance on average of getting those damaging wind, large hail, frequent lightning, anything that creates a severe thunderstorm, and 5% or less chance of getting a tornado. I know that seems like not very much percentage-wise, but that actually is a pretty high percentage rate given on a given point on a map. So that's what we have for severe weather across much of the nation. Right now we're also tracking a winter side to the storm. Let me show you the big picture map. This is our setup for Wednesday into Thursday, most likely. And you can see a lot of the snowfall here will be across portions just north of Denver and extending on towards the Dakotas, Nebraska, and heading on up towards parts of northern Minnesota, most likely, towards later Thursday. So we'll get into that, and we'll probably have snow totals just north of Denver up into mostly eastern Wyoming around the Casper area, approaching 18 inches. That's what we're looking at. Northwestern Nebraska, heading on up towards South Dakota. You're going to get hit hard with this winter storm as this low pressure moves up towards the northeast. It's also north of this and right around this stationary and warm front we have draped across the Midwest here, where we'll get a lot of flooding rains, and this is where the problems will be for that flooding. And take it from somebody who's lived through a flooding situation, and flooding situations are no fun. So you would really like to actually avoid those flooded areas. Turn around, don't drown. That's the motto of the National Weather Service. So heed that warning and advice. Those are the areas. And then of course the fuchsia colors is that potentially dangerous situation, and that will spread east throughout the week. Look at temperatures here. We're going to have this warming trend, but you notice this really cold pocket of air. That's with that winter storm. We'll continue to watch the temperatures as they come together very closely. 40s just north of the front, and 60s, 70s, and 80s just south of the front towards Washington, D.C., mid to upper 70s by Thursday and Friday. Out west here, things start to warm up, and it's by Friday or Saturday things actually start to cool down across the northeast, with some areas near the lakes not getting out of the upper 30s to low 40s, especially downwind Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. And portions of the northeast, widespread 40s and 50s for your Saturday. So that's looking a little colder for the long term. However, those conditions come next week will quickly warm back up with that strong April sun. That's going to do it for MeteoMark. If you have any concerns on actual watches or warnings throughout the area, your area, consult your National Weather Service homepage, because there will be a lot of warnings that I can't cover in this video, because you need real-time, up-to-the-date coverage from your local media outlets on those quick, ever-changing thunderstorms that can drop flooding rains and damaging wind, large hail, and isolated tornadoes. Like me on Facebook at MeteoMark. Subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. My website is MeteoMark.com. Here's a 4-day forecast for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Elmira and the northern tier counties of Pennsylvania. We're looking here on Wednesday. Let's get our days right here. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We're going to look at the possibility of mostly sunny skies, some increasing clouds later in the day. Here across the Susquehanna region, we could make our way up to about 65 degrees. We're heading on into Wednesday evening and into Thursday. We could end up getting mostly clear skies. And then Thursday, things start to cloud up a bit with scattered showers. We could approach the mid-60s once again. And then heading on into your Friday, this is where things really start to go downhill we've got temperatures cracking 70 in most areas of the Susquehanna region, and we'll have heavy rain and embedded thunderstorms most likely after noon. And I don't expect any of them to really be severe because we'll be just north of the stationary front, and we're not looking at much instability, but enough to give us some heavy downpours, possibly some areas up to 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain. That's going to do it for MeteoMark.